Rich Rising, good morning, y'all. It's like 5 something in the morning. Let me tell you, I got up 4:30 to go pee, and my intentions were to go back to sleep. I just got this sudden urge to tell my story. And I was laying in bed trying to ignore that energy, but I couldn't go back to sleep. So here I am at 5 something. I got up, washed my face, washed my mouth, made some tea. Here I am, ready to tell you guys a story. I'm going to start a series called Surviving the Unemployed Life, a big dreamer living in an unfair system. Okay? I'm going to do my best to try and get these out. I'm not no Risa Tisa. Shout out to her though. She's what inspired me to get into some storytelling. But also at the same time, I I've been scrolling through TikTok lately and I noticed that there's a lot of you guys that are the same age as me, broke millennials, that are going through similar experience where you can't find a job, you have no savings, etc., etc. So why not me, who loves to talk about her life, not take advantage of this and come on here and share my experience with y'all so that those that are just started being in this situation or those that have been in it for like a year like me, you can take what resonates from my story, my experience, avoid things that I did you don't have to do, or if you want to be risky like me, you can do it. But yeah, I don't want to take up further of you guys' time. Let's get right into storytelling. Okay, so with this being part one series, allow me to introduce myself. My name's Shireen. I also go by Take What Resonates on Instagram and TikTok. I want to tell you guys my experience surviving the unemployed life, from beginning, middle, and end. Beginning being the spiritual awakening to the end being right here, sitting in this chair, recording my story. I would say when this unemployed life started was like the pandemic, and I'm pretty sure it kind of started for like all of us then because we were all forced to be unemployed, right? But how I got from, to living in Toronto to here in Calgary, Alberta, what got me started is this whole spiritual awakening. So I took shrooms. Okay, if you hear any weird noises in the background, we are cat sitting and house sitting, so I'm not home right now. But anyways, I um I took shrooms, and let me tell you, it was my first time. I was at my brother and sister-in-law's apartment, and I took it by myself, but they were shroom sitting, and I went through a whole, like, my trip was like a healing trip. Like, I'm talking about bawling my eyes out and releasing like built up energy. Like, well, it did help that my brother was like playing music from like the 2000s, my childhood. And it's like every song he played, I attack because I love music. I use music as an escape sometimes. So every song my brother played, like I had a emotion and a memory attached to that song. So every time my brother played a song, I would either bawl my eyes out or laugh my ass off. And basically that shroom trip like shook me, guys. It shook me. It kind of put me into like, it kickstarted my spiritual journey, kind of. And I would say this was like 2019. Yeah, 2019. I did my first shroom trip. So yeah, going through your whole spiritual awakening, you start looking for information, and you start looking for people that kind of know what you know and went through their awakening. Because when you go through your spiritual awakening, y'all, like it's a whole reset. Like you go from like like programmed and your head's down and you're just focused in the system to like awake. All right, and that's what happened to me. And right away, I was just like trying to connect with like-minded individuals and, figure out what do I do next after I have this whole spiritual awakening. Like, excuse the timelines, guys. I didn't even go back and look through my like highlights to see when this all actually happened. But I know it's happened from like 2019 throughout the pandemic all the way till now with my story. But yeah, after the whole spiritual awakening, I was doing what anyone does after a whole spiritual awakening, going down rabbit holes and like trying to learn new things and unlearn things. and, figure out what is the truth. And when I was riding the spiritual awakening high, I was kind of like, I was operating out of my ego. So, I kind of went through that phase where I'm like, fuck the white man, fuck the system. Like, I was just angry. That was like stage 2 of spiritual awakening, anger that I was lied to. And that I feel like that is kind of so because of that first spiritual awakening, I feel like that's kind of the reason why I was slowly starting to like reflect more on my life and my decisions and like what am I doing, because also during that time too I did also try to be like an atheist or whatever you want to call it. I was like, I don't believe in God, but like I believe there's like some higher being up there, could be an alien. Like I was like that type of person. So it's like I had no faith. I was on a spiritual awakening high, operating out of my ego. And yeah, you know what that can lead to. Anxiety. So I was just an anxious, like 20 something year old, 27 or 26-year old. I was like an anxious 26, 27-year old. I was operating out of her ego, riding a spiritual awakening high from her first shroom trip. And yeah, there was like pros and cons about that. Again, I finally took some time to like kind of reflect on my life and everything. But during those times, I didn't even start my real like healing journey. I was just like on the nothing even matters anymore energy. So that wasn't even my spiritual journey. That would be, we will take that to part 2. So yeah, with all that, your girl was just walking around anxious, taking on life, also angry at this, also angry at the higher ups, for lying to us. And I was anxious as fuck because I had no faith in God or whatever. I just was confused. I was lost and confused. And that's how we're going to end off part 1. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. I promise my storytelling will get better. I don't know who told me to get up 4:30 a.m., set up and start recording myself telling a story. That's madness, but I appreciate you if you made it all the way to the end. And yeah, again, catch you guys in part 2.